Sementara itu, kadar pengangguran pada Julai 2025 kekal pada 3%, mencatatkan 521,600 orang penganggur.
To begin with the introduction, unemployment remains a major challenge in Malaysia despite sustained economic growth and industrial diversification, with youth unemployment continuing to be a key concern. The COVID-19 pandemic intensified job loss and disrupted the labour market, and although economic recovery has taken place, several structural issues persist. These include rapid automation, digitalization, and a widening mismatch between workers' skills and employers' requirements. This indicates that economic expansion and higher labour force participation alone are insufficient to resolve unemployment. Greater attention must therefore be given to job quality and effective job skill matching, as unemployment not only constrains productivity and economic growth but also negatively affects social well-being. As such, targeted and strategic labour market policies are required rather than focusing solely on job creation. Looking at the statistic, according to the Department of Statistics Malaysia, in the first quarter of 2025, Malaysia's labour force reached approximately 17.23 million people, with a labour force participation rate of 70.7%. During this period, the unemployment rate stood at 3.1% and declined further to around 3.0% by mid-2025, marking the lowest level in a decade. Despite this encouraging trend, unemployment remains a concern due to underlying structural challenges within the labour market. In Malaysia, unemployment can be broadly categorized into three types. First, structural unemployment arises when workers' skills do not match job requirements, mainly due to automation and digital transformation. Second, frictional unemployment is short-term and occurs during job transitions or when new graduates enter the labour market. Lastly, cyclical unemployment is linked to economic downturns, such as those experienced during financial crisis and the COVID-19 pandemic. Understanding these different types is crucial, as each requires distinct policy response to effectively address unemployment.
Skills mismatch is another critical problem in Malaysia to be looked into, says Bernard, especially among individuals entering the labour market for the first time.
Moving on to the issues, although Malaysia's unemployment rate has shown improvement in 2025, unemployment remains a significant economic and social concern. The issue today is not merely the availability of jobs, but the quality of employment and the ability of workers to meet labour market expectations. Several underlying problems continue to affect employability, including rapid technological change, weaknesses in the education system, and misalignment between graduates' skills and industry needs. The most critical issue is skill mismatch. This occurs when the skills acquired by graduates do not correspond with what employers require. Many Malaysian graduates are trained in academic fields with limited employment demand, while high-growth sectors such as digital technology, engineering, and healthcare struggle to find qualified workers. As a result, graduates may remain unemployed or accept jobs unrelated to their qualifications. In addition, employers frequently highlight that fresh graduates lack practical experience and essential soft skills such as communication, teamwork, and problem solving. This makes it difficult for them to adapt to real workplace environments. Another serious outcome of skill mismatch is graduate underemployment. Recent data show that over one-third of graduates are employed in jobs that do not fully utilize their education and skills. This situation not only discourages individuals but also reduces national productivity as human capital is not optimally used. These issues clearly indicate the need for stronger coordination between education institutions and industry. Next, in terms of implications, unemployment has wide-ranging implications that go beyond income loss, affecting both economic performance and social stability. In Malaysia, Youth unemployment is particularly concerning because young people represent the future workforce and drivers of economic growth. When youth are unable to secure stable employment, the nation's long-term productivity and development are at risk. One of the most serious impacts of youth unemployment is its effects on mental and emotional well-being. Many unemployed graduates experience frustration, stress, anxiety, and feelings of failure, especially when they face pressure from family and society to succeed. Over time, these emotional challenges can develop into serious mental health problems such as depression and social withdrawal. Prolonged unemployment can also lead to what is known as carrying effects, where psychological damage persists even after individuals eventually find employment. These effects reduce confidence, resilience, and motivation in the long term. Furthermore, youth unemployment contributes to broader social issues, including increased involvement in crime, substance abuse, and online gambling as coping mechanism for financial stress and frustration. Beyond the individual level, unemployment places a heavy burden on families and the national economy. Families often have to continue financially supporting unemployed youth, increasing stress within household. At the macro level, high unemployment reduces consumer spending, slow business growth, and force the government to allocate more funds to welfare programs and unemployment benefits instead of development initiatives. As a result, persistent unemployment can hinder Malaysia's economic growth and delay the achievement of national goals such as the Shared Prosperity Vision 2030. Therefore, addressing unemployment is not only about creating jobs but also about safeguarding the country's long-term social and economic stability. Finally, to address these challenges, several long-term recommendations are proposed. Addressing unemployment in Malaysia requires a comprehensive and long-term approach that goes beyond creating job opportunities. It is essential to improve employability, strengthen emotional resilience, and ensure that the workforce is prepared for the changing demand of the labour market. This can only be achieved through collaboration between the government, educational institutions, industries, and civil society. One key recommendation is to strengthen mental health and social support programs for unemployed youth. Unemployment often leads to emotional distress, loss of motivation, and reduced self-confidence. The government can address this by expanding access to counseling services, online mental health platforms, and community-based support programs. These initiatives help prevent long-term psychological harm and promote emotional well-being. Educational institutions also play a critical role. Universities and training centers should integrate job readiness programs, life skills training, and mental health awareness into their curricula. Exposure to internship, industrial training, and career counseling can better prepare students for real workplace challenges. Finally, collaboration with the private sector, non-governmental organizations, and community groups is essential. Joint initiatives such as job fair with counseling services, online career platforms, and peer support groups can provide both employment assistance and emotional support. These combined efforts can help build a resilient, confident, and future-ready workforce in Malaysia.
Slow economic growth has limited job creation in Malaysia after the COVID-19 pandemic. Although economic activities have resumed, many businesses are still adapting to new market conditions, which restricts employment opportunities. Several key sectors were severely disrupted during the pandemic, and the effects are still felt by workers who have yet to be rehired. Due to financial uncertainty and rising costs, employers remain cautious and focus more on survival than workforce expansion. In addition, uneven recovery across industry delays job creation, contributing to ongoing unemployment in Malaysia. GDP growth is negatively affected when unemployment remains high and economic recovery is slow. When people lose their jobs or experience reduced working hours, their household income decreases, limiting their ability to spend. As a result, households focus mainly on essential needs and reduce discretionary spending such as travel, dining, and entertainment. This decline in consumer spending weakens overall demand in the economy. Lower demand directly affects businesses, especially small and medium enterprises that rely heavily on local consumers. Reduced sales force businesses to delay expansion and hiring, and in some cases, reduce their workforce further. This creates a vicious cycle where unemployment lowers consumption. To address unemployment challenges, government support and subsidy enhancement play a crucial role in assisting vulnerable groups affected by job loss and income instability. By implementing targeted assistance instead of blanket subsidies, public resources can be allocated more efficiently to those who need them most. Transparent and accountable distribution of subsidies helps build public trust and prevents misuse of funds. In addition, temporary employment and skill-based programs allow individuals to earn income while gaining experience and remaining active in the labor market. Through the use of data-driven systems, these initiatives can be regularly monitored and improved to ensure their effectiveness and long-term sustainability.
Youth attitude plays a significant role in contributing to unemployment in Malaysia, particularly among young people aged 15 to 24. Although Malaysia's overall unemployment rate has declined to around 3%, youth unemployment remains relatively high, reaching more than 10%. This indicates that the issue is not merely a lack of job opportunities, but also relates to job preference and expectation among young job seekers. One major factor is job selectiveness. Many young Malaysians today prioritize flexible working arrangement, work-life balance, job prestige, and higher starting salaries. According to a recent survey, a large proportion of Generation Z workers are willing to reject job offers if they do not provide flexibility or align with their preferred lifestyle. While these expectations reflect modern employment values, they also cause delays in job acceptance, leading to prolonged periods of unemployment. Another contributing factor is unrealistic salary expectation. Many fresh graduates expect starting salaries between 3,000 and 3,500 ringgit, while employers often offer lower wages for entry-level positions due to limited experience. As a result, graduates may choose to remain unemployed while waiting for better offers, even when suitable jobs are available. This behavior increases frictional unemployment and reduces labor market efficiency. In addition, there is a strong preference for white-collar and prestigious jobs among Malaysian youth. Jobs in sectors such as manufacturing, construction, and agriculture are often perceived as less attractive despite having consistent labor demands. This stigma discourages young people from accepting available positions, forcing employers to rely heavily on foreign labor instead. Overall, while youth attitude reflect changes value and aspirations, excessive selectiveness and unwillingness to compromise contribute to higher youth unemployment. Serious implication of unemployment in Malaysia is brain drain, which refer to the migration of skilled and educated workers to other countries in search of better opportunities. Many Malaysian graduates and professionals choose to work overseas due to higher wages, better career prospects, improved working conditions, and work-life balance. This trend is especially common among individuals in high-demand fields such as technology, healthcare, engineering, and finance. Statistics shows that tens of thousands of Malaysians migrate abroad each year, with a large proportion being young professionals between the age of 20 to 35. Brain drain has serious consequences for the Malaysian economy. When skilled workers leave the country, Malaysia loses valuable human capital that is essential for innovation, productivity, and economic growth. Employers face difficulties in filling skilled positions, which may slow down business expansion and technological development. In response, companies may become increasingly dependent on foreign skilled labor or outsourcing, further weakening domestic talent development. In order to address unemployment and reduce brain drain, Malaysia must focus on enhancing talent retention and development, particularly among young and skilled workers. Retaining local talent requires creating an employment environment that meets the expectation of modern workers, while supporting long-term economic growth. One key strategy is to provide clear career progression pathways. Employers should establish transparent promotion structures, mentorship programs, and leadership development initiatives. When employees can see long-term growth opportunities within local organizations, education, they are less likely to seek opportunities abroad. Improving working condition and compensation is also essential. Competitive salaries, performance-based incentive, flexible working arrangement, and professional development opportunities can help make local jobs more attractive.
So the next issue is foreign labour dependency in Malaysia. Foreign labour dependency remains one of the major structural issues in Malaysia's labour market and contributes to unemployment among local workers. Malaysia has long depended on migrant workers to meet labour demand in key sectors such as manufacturing, agriculture, construction and services. According to the Department of Statistics Malaysia, as of September 2024, there were about 2.47 million foreign workers in Malaysia, making up 50% of the total workforce. The construction sector relies heavily on foreign workers, who make up about 70 to 80% of the workforce, mainly because many local workers are unwilling to take low-paying and physically demanding jobs. This heavy reliance on foreign workers reduces job opportunities for local, especially in entry-level and semi-skilled positions, and puts downward pressure on wages and job quality. When industries depend on cheap labour, they have less incentive to invest in automation or skill development for local workers. Although foreign workers are important for economic activity, overdependence has created structural problems. Malaysia can reduce this dependency by improving job quality, strengthening skills training, and modernizing the economy through automation and innovation. Next is loss of workforce productivity. Skilled workers bring important qualities such as technical knowledge, problem-solving skills, creativity, and innovation, which are essential for business success. When these workers are unemployed or underemployed, companies lose the opportunity to use their skills to improve efficiency, adopt new technologies, and expand into high-value markets. This situation lowers the quality and quantity of output and increases operational costs, especially when business need to retain new workers. In Malaysia, skill-based underemployment has become a major concern. According to the Department of Statistics Malaysia 2025, about 1.96 million Malaysians with tertiary education are working in semi-skilled or low-skilled jobs, showing a mismatch between education and job opportunities. This leads to underutilization of human capital and reduced productivity. In addition, the imbalance between foreign and local labour worsens productivity as industry rely on low-skilled foreign workers while local skilled workers remain unemployed. Overall, skill unemployment reduces competitiveness and slow Malaysian progress toward high income and innovation-driven growth. Next, micro-entrepreneurship has become one of the most effective ways Malaysia reduce unemployment, poverty, and income inequality, especially among low-income and vulnerable groups. Micro-entrepreneurs create income opportunities for people who face barriers to formal employment, such as limited education, lack of capital, or living in rural areas. Through activities like production, trading, manufacturing, and home-based business, they help the unemployed and unemployed use existing skills to improve their livelihoods. Since the new economic policy and continuing under Malaysia Madani 2025, micro-enterprise development has been recognised as an important tool for socio-economic restructuring and community empowerment. Recent figures show that 58% of micro-enterprise expect economic growth in 2025, making them the most optimistic business group compared to larger firms, which are more exposed to global trade risks. The education sector showed the highest optimism, while East Malaysia records stronger confidence than Peninsular Malaysia. Despite cross-pressure, MSME are maintaining workforce stability with many planning selective hiring, especially in ICT and digital-driven sectors. At the same time, wider adoption of e-commerce, automation, AI and e-invoicing show that digitalization will strengthen MSME resilience, productivity and job creation in 2025.
In conclusion, unemployment in Malaysia remains a significant socio-economic challenge with long-term national implications, particularly highlighted by the disruptions caused before, during and after the COVID-19 pandemic. Prolonged unemployment not only reduces national productivity and household spending, but also increases social and psychological pressure, especially among young people. Therefore, Malaysia requires proactive and forward-looking strategies that go beyond short-term relief by strengthening job creation, improving labour market matching, investing in skills development, and enhancing social protection to build a resilient and sustainable workforce for the future.